If you are a young person and venturing out into the real world, what are the things that you should be focusing on to help springboard your life? What are the lessons that are going to save you years of mistakes and help you get ahead of your competition? This could be the most important video I ever make. Now, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be turning 38. In the 20 years since I was 18, what are the lessons that I've learned that I wish I'd known when I was 18 to help me navigate through life? So when I was young, I didn't have any guidance. Nobody sat me down and told me the rules for life, how to navigate life, how to be successful, how to cope with failure, or find real happiness. I had to find out the hard way through life experience. The world for a young person has never been more insecure. House prices seems to be out of reach. Politics seems to be dividing people more than ever. AI is coming in and changing the landscape and threatening people's skill sets and jobs. We've just come out of a pandemic. Inflation's higher than normal. And young people are finding it really tough. So I thought to myself, in the 20 years since I was 18, what are the lessons that I've learned that I wish I'd known when I was 18 to help me navigate through life? Because between 18 to 28, you're still discovering yourself. And from 28 to 38 is when you're in your groove and you know who you are. So this video is important to me because I'm giving back. These are the lessons I wish I'd known earlier. And most importantly, and again, a very personal thing for me, is this is for my son. So if you're watching this, Dada loves you very much. And you're the driving force behind these videos. So you can have all the knowledge that I've learned, all the life lessons that I've learned up till now, and get a head start. So to my son and any future children that I'm lucky enough to have, this is for you. And I want you to remember that no matter how hard life gets, in the moment, how overwhelming it can feel, you are loved, you are more than capable, and remember that you're never alone. Thank you. So for these 20 life lessons, I've broken these up into 4 main categories, starting off with growth and self-discovery, then relationships and networking, discipline and success, and last but not least, mindset and resilience. So my first lesson, and this is something that I've said to my nieces all too frequently, don't worry if you feel stuck right now. Wherever you are in life, where you are now isn't going to be for the rest of your life. Of course, you'll need to take action to make sure that's the case. And sometimes it feels like whatever you're doing now is going to be for the rest of your life. But if you put a plan together, and if you have the drive to move forward, then you won't be. Just don't allow it to happen. Remember that most people have had to work their way from the bottom. In my career, I've been a pot washer, been a waiter, I've worked in recruitment, I've worked in the fitness industry, and I've worked my way up to management, and that's where you can springboard into other aspects of your career. So whatever you're doing now, don't think that you're stuck. It's just temporary, and this doesn't define you either. So use these times to learn, absorb what you can, and just enjoy knowing that this isn't forever. Enjoy the lessons, the people that you're going to meet, the skill sets that you're going to pick up from it, and don't worry about it. Every challenge you overcome when you feel like you're stuck is another step forward to being the person and being in the place where you want to be. So remember that the best way is always through. Number 2, following on from that, It's okay not to know. You might feel like you're stuck because you keep getting asked, what do you want to do with your life? And when are you going to go to university? We'll get onto that in other lessons. But it's okay not to know. Some of the most successful people ever in history found their calling, if you will, in their 40s, 50s, 60s. So it's okay not to know. And you could even say the opposite, to be honest. If someone's 17, 18 and they already know what they want to be and they're dead set, that's great because they've found their purpose. But the other thing with that is it actually blocks you in. Because if you're so focused on that one goal when you're early, you're cutting out all the opportunities that are around you and to hone in on what you want to do. Remember, in your early years, it's a series of detours, obstacles, mistakes, and unexpected journeys that you can use later on in your life. Instead of worrying where you should be, focus on what excites you and use that as an opportunity to learn. Fail at things. Failing is a gift. It's not the end. It's not the rubber stamp on anything. Failure is a gift. Learn to fail and fail fast. And not knowing is part of the adventure. Like I said earlier, don't box yourself in. Open yourself up to opportunities. And remember, most importantly, the only journey is within. Once you master yourself, you can do anything you want to do. Lesson number 3. Learn from everyone, good or bad. For me personally, some of the best experiences in my life have been learning from the people that were just bad at their jobs. I learned how not to do the job, which made me better at mine. Observe everyone, how everyone has their own style, the ways of communication, but learn from them, especially the bad ones, because they help shape you more than you will ever know. They teach you how not to do it, which again will give you a massive heads up so you don't have to go through that yourself. A lot of this could be common sense. Treat people how you want to be treated and have your own style. Even if you're not sure where you are or what you want to do, be true to yourself and learn from everyone. Remember, a wise man learns from his enemies more than a fool for his friends. Lesson number 4, and this is a really, really important one, hence why it's at the start of the video. And this is about knowing yourself. And like I just mentioned, you can feel stuck, you can feel like you don't know where you want to go, and you might be working with people at the moment that you think are bad and can't progress your career. But knowing yourself first can take a long time. You will fail more than not in your early career and early life, but that's okay. Failure is just part of the journeys we've already talked about. So in your early years, before you kind of get out into the professional working environment or have a relationship or explore or travel, take some time to learn yourself. Personality tests are absolutely abundant and can show you who you are, what you like. And I would advise doing it maybe every year, every 2 years, to see how you develop and change and grow. But the first thing is learn yourself first. And you'll be surprised. It's a bit of an awakening moment when you actually realize your personality is what it is. But that's a good thing. Everyone has their own personalities for a reason. I'm very analytical and very kind of direct, and I like my detail. Some people are naturally extrovert. I'm very introvert. So I need time and rest to recover, whereas some people thrive on the energy of others. But for me, that's exhausting. And it's good to know that. So for example, if you're at a party and after half an hour you're exhausted, it's completely fine. It's maybe because you're an introvert and you just need your chance to recover and recharge your battery. But that's all part of individualism. So discover yourself first. Remember, to know thyself is the start to wisdom. But now moving on to the second group of lessons, which is around relationships and networks. So like we've just mentioned in the other lesson, learn about yourself. What do you like? What do you not like? Where do you get your energy levels from? But on the flip side, use that knowledge and understanding to learn about others and what drives them, what motivates them. Because this is what is a key factor in the professional working environment. You will work with hundreds of people in your career, and everyone will be slightly different and wired in a different way. And that could be a challenge because some people can be frustrating. And sometimes you don't understand why they think the way they think, but it's just the way they're wired. The people that challenge us the most are the ones that teach us the most. So take the time to learn about others. You might find yourself working with someone that's completely opposite, which is fine because opposites attract. And actually, you can be a yin and yang and you can get the most benefit out of each other, but you need to learn that yourself. So first, like I mentioned in the previous lesson, learn about yourself and then apply that knowledge to learn about others. If you can learn to see the world from a different perspective, it will help massively with your relationships and networking. And again, make you more flexible in your personality type. So remember, seek first to understand, then to be understood. The next lesson is to invest in personal relationships. You don't know who you're going to come across in life. And what you will do is, as you go through life, you will naturally be drawn to like-minded people and people have the same values and the same standards and the same work ethic and the overall same goals, which we'll definitely come on to later. But invest in people and your relationships. You never know who you're going to come across that can help you down the line. They might be a business opportunity to work together. They might be a networking opportunity. They could be a mentor. They could get you a job interview. So always build and invest in your relationships. But a key thing to that is understanding which relationships to invest in. Make sure they're the relationships that are going to be pushing you forward. And we're going to be coming on to that soon. Remember, a key thing here is your network is your net worth. And with relationships, for the next lesson, your family. One of the most powerful things you could possibly hear is that you don't have time with your family. When you move out, you have occasions, and depending on how old your family members are, you only have so many occasions left with them. Your family are your family. We all fall out and have disagreements. But remember that once they're gone, and you'll never get those true moments back. So when you're all together, when everyone's around, cherish those moments. See your family before it's too late. Remember that you've only got so many occasions left. A personal example for me is my daddy's in his 90s. So even planning holidays, we have to think about what could happen. I.e., are we even going to get to that holiday as a family? And once you realize that you haven't got time anymore, you've only got occasions. You might only have a handful of occasions. Take the time to go and see your family. The next lesson is a bit of a harsh truth. But again, like any of my videos, they're going to be truthful. And this is one that we all know, but I don't think people talk about, especially as you get older. When you're young, you have a massive network of friends. Because you're in school, you have maybe outside. And what you'll do is, over time, you might take one good friend from that group when you move on. And remember, and this is a harsh truth, people that you know today, you might not know in 10 years. The investments that you've made, some people genuinely don't care. And we'll come on to this, why that might be the case in future lessons in this video. But it's being comfortable that not everybody does care. And you'll find that in your darkest moments, who your true friends are. People you think you can rely on. And I've seen it too many times, not from my personal experience, but from people I know. They've had family tragedies and they've gone out to a friend and that person's just shunned them off. They can't even bother to go and see them. And that's when you find out who your true friends are. So it's being comfortable that not everybody cares like you do. You might be putting more into that relationship than they are. So you need to identify that. And are they taking time away from you, or are they adding value to your life? It's a harsh one, but it is the truth. Remember, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, whether that's a podcast, or learning, or a teacher, or a mentor. Make sure you're pushing up, not being pulled down, especially by those that don't care in the first place. So we're now up to the third group of lessons, and this is all around discipline and success. One of the most important things you could ever do in your life is exercise, train, and work out. So going to my personal experience, I worked in a call center and I became a manager. And it was okay, it was good money. And then I got some inheritance through. And I thought, I'm going to use that money to invest in myself. So I quit my job and I did a 3-month personal training course. And it's one of the best decisions. And when you look back at it, probably one of the riskiest ones I've ever done. But what I took out of that was, first of all, the knowledge and education. So invest in yourself. A good rule of thumb is try and go on 1 training course a year to make yourself better. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up over time. But the act of going to the gym is one of the most important ones you could ever do, because it gives you lessons that you can use throughout your entire life. Let's rattle through some of these. You don't get instant gratification from going to the gym. You might get a high from that individual workout, yes, but the results will take time, which is a massive thing when it comes to being successful in life, whether that's investing, exercise, training, or your career. It takes time. The discipline to go in when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to, but to still show up when to do a gym workout, is again a most valuable lesson. Because believe it or not, you're not going to do everything you want to all the time in life. You're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. So what motivation and drive have you got? And that's where the gym can be a teacher. And it's one of the most valuable things you can do, because it gives you that structure, the routine, the discipline, the motivation, and eventually you do see the results. Once you see the results, you get faith in the process. And once you get faith in the process, you relax. And once you relax, you get better, because you know it works. The consistency you build in the gym, the patience through all your training, and the resilience you gain from all of those sessions will fortify your mind for anything that comes up in life. Going to the gym isn't a one-off. It needs to become a habit, and it needs to become a lifestyle. I literally started doing weights when I was 14. I remember going to the gym and they said, we can't give you a membership because you need to be a minimum of 16 before you can join. So I got my own weights. That physical kind of, the physical challenge, the growth. There's a phrase I always like, which is pain is weakness leaving the body. And once you start to see the results, like I said, you'll start to trust the process. So remember, take care of your body. It's the only place you can live. The next lesson is just surround yourself with winners. I hinted on this earlier, but if you are surrounded by people with lesser standards, they will try to pull you down, because it's easier for someone else to try and pull you down. It's harder for them to look in the mirror and understand why they're in the position that they're in and why they're trying to pull you down. And that's an easy answer. It's because it's easy. It's easy to pull you down, because rising above and moving forward takes effort. And I think sometimes in culture, people just expect to be spoon-fed, but you need to break out of that. There is a study that shows that if you surround yourself by winners, your productivity naturally goes up because you want to match it. You want to be surrounding yourself with people that want to achieve great things, that like to collaborate, share best practice, best ways of working. If you find yourself that you're stuck in the mud, have a look at your friends. And like some of the other lessons that we've already talked about, sometimes you can't change your friends, but you can change your friends. So remember, show me your friends and I will show you your future. The last lesson in this group is around get disciplined now. We've already hinted on this, and you can see how these lessons are building up. From going to the gym, from having a good, strong friend base that wants to move forward, surrounding yourself with winners. Having the discipline now will result in freedom later. The more structured you are, the more you are in control of your life. And this comes down to winning the morning. So having a strong morning routine. Own the morning, you own the day. If you own the day, you own your life. So get disciplined now, get into that regimen and that routine. And again, it's going to be difficult because when you're young, your friends will be saying, do you want to come out? Do you want to go party? And it's okay to do that. You need to burn off some steam. But doing it in excess can be a detriment. It's finding the right balance, everything in moderation. So having the discipline, being true to yourself, having your own standards, it's going to compound over time. And again, that's why we say 1% a day, stay disciplined, and your future self will thank you massively. The more structured you are now, the more free your life will be. And discipline equals freedom. So set clear goals, be true to yourself, make them unwavering, and deliver. Your future you will thank you massively. Discipline today helps create success for tomorrow. So remember, we do not rise to the level of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems. Keep a high bar and don't drop below those standards. We're now in the final group, which is around mindset and resilience. And the first one is a tough one. And this is about heartbreak. When you're young, you're in your teens or your early 20s, being heartbroken can be devastating because it's something new and you have nothing else to compare it against. It's rejection. You can fall out of love with someone, they can fall out of love with you. Each of them have a different challenge. And you'll hear a lot of people say this, especially grown-ups and adults. When you hear, time heals all wounds, it's not the best thing to hear in that moment, and you're confused because you feel like they can't relate, or they don't understand the pain or the severity of it. But remember that they've been there and done it and felt it. And time does heal all wounds. It's a sad thing to know, but it's the truth, and you should take inspiration and motivation from that. The pain, if you're heartbroken at the moment, it will pass. Time will pass, and healing helps. And remember as well that heartbreak isn't final. It's just redirection. It's a way of life pointing you in the right direction to where you truly should be. Sometimes you can be so heartbroken you can never imagine life without them. And that's okay to feel like that. But in future, you will look back at it and you'll see it as a blessing because you will meet the right person and they will be right for you. Don't get me wrong, you'll always hold something in the heart for that person. Whoever's broken your heart, whoever you've been in a relationship with, we all do. We always hold a little piece in the heart for them. But as you get older, as you settle, as you do everything that we've just talked about, you learn about yourself, you get your success. Remember, especially in heartbreak, don't drop your standards. If someone's asking you to do something that doesn't feel right, don't go with it. They're not the right person for you. There will be other people out there. Don't put yourself in that situation. And remember, whatever is coming is better than what has gone. As we get to the end of these lessons, this lesson is going to sound like a bit of a throwaway, but again, it is the truth. Everything's going to be fine. You're in your early 20s or you're 18, you don't know where you are, you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want to be, you don't know what love is, and you will get through it. Everyone does. You'll learn in your own way, and these lessons are just a guideline to what I would want to tell my younger self or my son, but everything will be fine. What you need to do is don't expect everything to be fine and just given to you on a plate. You need to go and get it. You need to go and take it. No one's going to give you anything in life. You need to have that drive and that hunger to rise above it and be the best you can be. And that only comes from within inside. Whatever that motivation is, whether it is heartbreak or whether it is seeing the success of your other friends and you want a piece of that. So take one step at a time, one day at a time, 1% a day, and you will be fine. And remember, don't worry. Worrying is like a rocking chair. You are moving, but you're not getting anywhere with it. My last bonus lesson, especially considering the age that we live in now, mobile phones and social media, they can either use you or you can use them. I'll give you some examples. They can use you simply because that is what most social media platforms are designed to. They're designed to grab your attention, for you to stay there and for you to scroll endlessly. Your attention on that platform is taking your attention away from another platform. Therefore, they have better ad revenue and you're just being used. On the flip side, you can use social media, YouTube, documentaries, podcasts to learn. If you have 15 minutes free, learn something. If you're commuting to work, listen to an audiobook, listen to a podcast rather than the radio. Use those 30, 60 minutes when you get into work to learn. And that's how you can use social media in your advantage. It's easy to get lost in the scroll, and we all do it, including myself. I don't claim to be a saint, but what I do try to do is acknowledge when I'm doing it. If I've gotten through 10 shorts on YouTube, I'm like, something's not right, I need to go. And get up, move away, put your phone down. So lastly, after everything we've talked about in these lessons, be wary of social media. When 30 minutes gone past and you've just scrolled through, if you can't remember the last 5 things that you've just watched on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, then you haven't absorbed anything. It's literally just wasted your time, which we could be doing more productively. It's having that discipline. It's having that structure and that routine. Everything we've just talked about. This is what it boils down to. Is it a live time or is it a dead time? Social media can be both. Dead time is when you're just scrolling endlessly and not actually achieving anything. A live time is when you're putting it to your advantage and learning. With the internet, free material of education that's out there. Ignorance is a choice. You can get a free course on anything, so there's no excuses, as we mentioned before. So be wary of social media. Use it for your advantage, not to be used. And remember, be aware of the barrenness of a busy life. So those were my life lessons that I would want to tell my younger self. And you can tell that there's a range of things in there, from understanding yourself, from friends and family, to your career and your job, to having discipline, to having structure, to having the routine, to identifying the social constructs and traps that we all fall into. It's about rising above. But life is about learning. These are just some lessons that I wish I'd known when I was younger. But at the end of the day, I'm at where I'm at because of those lessons not being shared with me. Sometimes you've got to go through life and learn the hard way. But sometimes having information and knowledge can help you understand if you're in that situation or how you feel, or trying to contextualize it. And like I said, everything will be okay. But it's up to you to make sure you are. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that was of value. And son, if you're watching this, everything is going to be okay. You're going to be fine. But it is up to you. And rise above it all. So thank you very much for watching. This is Chris from the Odds Group signing off. If you want to leave a comment on any lessons that you've learned that you can share with the community, feel free. I'd love to see it and read your comments. If you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. If you want to like and share, feel free. This is Chris, 30, soon to be 38 years old, talking to his 18 younger self. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.